Hello everyone! In this video, I will give you 6 tips that will help you to prepare and pass Certified Kubernetes Administrator exam. If you don't know, this is the most popular Kubernetes certification, provided directly by Linux Foundation. Unlike most of the other certifications, CKA is a practice exam. Instead of picking the right answer in a multi-choice test, you will have to apply your skills to solve 24 tasks that are approximate of real-life work with Kubernetes. In this regards, CKA is similar to the exams provided by Red Hat, which are also always practice exams. I really like certifications focused on practice because they remove the element of luck. You either can do the task or you cannot, there is no guessing involved. I am not going to discuss why you should or should not get the certification. My assumption is that if you are watching this video, then you already made up your mind. A word of warning, I am not allowed to share with you any exact details about the contents of the exam. Don't expect me to do this here. So without further ado, here are my 6 tips for passing the Certified Kubernetes Administrator exam. Tip number 1. Practice. You might be wondering if you need to have any real experience of working with Kubernetes in order to pass the exam. Definitely, having this experience won't hurt. I took the exam when I already had over 4 years of working with Kubernetes on real projects. Because of this, exam was pretty easy for me. Because CKA is a practice exam, you won't be able to simply memorize the theory and get away with not having any practical experience. Having said that, I do believe that you can just practice on your own, even if your current company does not use Kubernetes. It's fairly easy to set up your local Kubernetes cluster, and there are plenty of exercises out there, both paid and for free. Tip number 2. Understand concepts, but do not memorize too much. During the exam, you are going to have access to the official documentation website of Kubernetes. This website has information about everything you need. There are lots of code samples and enough theoretical information about every aspect of the Kubernetes. What this means for you is that memorizing every little detail about every API resource makes little sense. What does make sense is to get a real understanding of various concepts. You should know which features Kubernetes provides, but you don't need to remember every small detail, you just need to know how to look it up in the docs. Let's look at an example. If we're talking about cron jobs, you should know there's a special resource type that will tell Kubernetes to create new job based on the schedule we provide. You should also know that job is basically a pod that Kubernetes will try to run to completion. But what you don't have to know by heart is this. Memorizing the complete YAML structure will be a waste of your brain resources. Don't do that. Understand the concepts and learn how to look up information in documentation. By the way, this also applies to real work. Deep understanding how things work and how to look up the information is always better than lots of blindly memorized information. Tip number 3. Learn how to use kubectl. Kubectl is going to be your main tool on the exam, and it makes a lot of sense to learn how to use it. You probably know how to create objects from YAML files by running kubectl create-f and kubectl apply-f. But these commands require a YAML file, and creating YAML files from scratch is something you should, whenever possible, avoid during the exam. 3 hours sound like a lot, but it does not mean there will be a time to waste. Let me show you a couple of commands that I found especially useful. kubectl run will create a new deployment. You simply need to provide the image name, the deployment name, and a couple of other things. What you will get is a completely configured deployment that you can further modify to attach volumes to containers, add init containers, etc. kubectl expose will create a new service connected to existing deployment. You just need to specify ports and the name of the future service. You can also provide the service type if needed. kubectl create is especially useful to create new secrets. You can create an end file like the one I have here, and then create a secret from this file without the need to mess with YAML. Finally, kubectl explain is a built-in way to see specification of any Kubernetes resource. For example, I can run kubectl explain persistent volumes spec hostpass to see how to use hostpass volume type. Additionally, get accustomed to other kubectl commands to list and modify resources and keep close attention at different ways of filtering and formatting the retrieved data. I am repeating myself, but do invest time in practicing different commands. It will pay off. Tip number 4. Reuse YAML files. You won't be able to completely avoid writing YAML files. To avoid typing too much, you should keep template files that you can copy for different tasks. For example, here I have a base pod definition. I can then copy this file to be reused, modify a few parameters, and apply it. Nothing stops you from copying and pasting YAML files from the documentation website, but given the time constraint, I would recommend optimizing this process a bit more. Tip number 5. Get some basic Linux knowledge. It's impossible to be a Kubernetes administrator without knowing Linux. You should know how to use systemd and journald to debug system services. At very least, you need to know how to check status of system services by using systemctl. You should also know how to get logs of system services by using journalsctl. And of course, it won't hurt if you know how to use basic tools like find, grep, curl, and others. Tip number 6. Learn Vim. This tip is a bit controversial. Same as tips 3 and 4, the point of this tip is to save time. Believe me, you don't want to spend time on copying and pasting text between Notepad and terminal window. And you also don't want to accidentally remove something or to make stupid typos all the time. If you know how to use Vim, you will never have to leave the terminal window. Creating and changing any files will take the optimal amount of time, leaving space for you to think about the task and checking documentation. And these are all my tips on passing CKA exam. You might have noticed that the main focus of my tips was on saving time and concentrating on the important things. I was able to finish my exam in 2 hours instead of 3, mostly because I was certainly over-prepared, but partially it's also thanks to the simple optimization techniques that I just shared with you. I hope you will find them useful. If you or a company are interested in Kubernetes consulting and training, you can contact us via email address provided in the description. Good luck with the exam, and I would love to hear about your CKA experience in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and if you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and press the like button.